Okay, I'm gonna go to this one about Tyree. That was a very tough day when Tyree got killed. But you said that you want JCPS to have its own police force. Why is that? And then also, do you feel that the SRO program that they have announced is going to help? Will it reduce the burden on LMPD? Will it reduce crime in the city? Do you think SROs are beneficial at all?
So Tyree's death was just sickening. And that kid was doing everything we want of a child. Everything we want of a child. And he's just gone down. And so what do? We go to a podium, we say it's unacceptable. I think at the time he was like the 20th kid killed in the city, and then everyone goes their respective ways. That's the reality of it. And what I would say is, having sat that day or the day before in his mom's living room and just seen his sibling, whose life is now, gone upside down, the mom's world's gone upside down. No, I'm not going to just stand at a podium and say this is unacceptable. What are we going to do differently? And this goes back to my space of what are we doing differently? And you cannot as a community just look at government and think, fix this. It's just not that simple. And there's that tendency to say, well, that's that school, that's that part of the world, that's not my problem. And it's like, no, we all have to take ownership of this. I think that here is my heartburn around the schools. And again, this is where folks go into the space of, well, you just want to lock kids up. No, I don't want to lock children up at all. I'll be the first person to say we're in this space because for far too many years, we locked up young black men and threw away the key for behaviors we were not locking up white people for. We demonize crack cocaine, but pure cocaine and other illegal substances were not stigmatized like that. That's a fact. That being said, guns are going to school, gangs are in the school. Why then are we not saying, okay, we need to be proactive in this space if we're going to change the trajectory? Is it realistic to think that teachers, in addition to teaching, being counselors, being therapists, now have to break up fights? Now they have to disarm children? Now they have to learn about gangs? That's my frustration. And again, it's not about pointing a finger, about finding fault, but it's saying, if we don't go to the table and demand solutions from one another, then it's not realistic to think that in 10 years anything will be different.
And so do you think that a full police force would be helpful? And also, would it be helpful just for your officers? Do you get called to JCPS often?
I think that the key is, I think the upside, so let me say this. I had the fortune of working with a school superintendent in Atlanta, who essentially said, Atlanta Police Department, not using you. I'm gonna have my own police department. And that superintendent had their own police department, and what it allowed them to do was they were able to provide specific instruction to law enforcement on what they could not do. And so it really became a mentorship role. It wasn't one of arresting people, but these folks were also trained. They knew how to get guns off of children. They knew how to recognize gangs. They were constantly in communication with us in the street about, hey, this fight occurred at school today. It's going to spill over the neighborhood. So I think what I would say is, I think the key is you have to have people who are trained and capable of inserting themselves into this violence that is occurring and understanding how to de-escalate it. And I don't know how I just don't see how we can just keep expecting teachers to manage this.
And so the debate that a lot of people had after Tyree's death is, what is a police force in the school going to do outside the school? What are they going to do on the bus stop? What are they going to do on the school bus? You feel that, and you saw, it sounds like, firsthand, it working in Atlanta, of you had a communication, you knew and I don't want to say problem children, but you knew about problems as they were happening, so
We knew
you
about-
might be able to
Yeah, it
prevent
wasn't-
something that may happen
Yes,
in the
it wasn't,
community.
it's not to be arrest-driven. Arrest-driven serves no purpose. Here's the thing. Why is a child taking a gun to school? Typically, if you talk to young people, they'll tell you they don't feel safe. Okay, so let's identify why you don't feel safe. That's going to come back to probably outside the school. So we have to have that communication to understand, why is this child not feeling safe? What can we, LMPD, do in that child's neighborhood so that they don't feel they have to take a gun to school? Are they being bullied? And then, how are they getting the gun? Somebody's arming them. So I think it's not as simple as saying, oh, we're going to arrest a kid, or no. It's getting to the root cause of the problem. I don't think most children want to go to school with a gun. I don't think most kids want to fight. I think they want to be kids. I think they make these decisions based on a need to just protect themselves.